Hello, you, and good morning or afternoon or evening to you, wherever you are in the world. I am Dan is 30, and I'm going to be giving you a bit of an introduction to Board Game Arena, just for those who aren't as familiar with it. I'm just going to show you around and hopefully demystify it and make it a comfortable place to play. So I'm obviously my laptop always looks this neat and clean and tidy, and I haven't deleted all my incriminating evidence. And likewise, I only ever have Chrome on here. You might be using a different browser, um, but Board Game Arena works in most browsers, so that's fine. You will be familiar with this icon, and if you've signed up for an account already, you will be able to log in. This is where you log in. Password 123, obviously, or 1234 if you're especially security conscious. And then when you log in, here we are. This is Board Game Arena's greeting page. I suppose it can feel a little bit like Facebook or a social media site, in that you've got a bit of a sort of feed of stuff that your friends and activities that your friends have been doing there, and then there's this common stuff on the right here, most of which you probably won't be interested in, but just know that it's always available by clicking here. We'll go across this bar here and I'll talk a little bit about what each of them are. Play now we'll come back to, because we will kick off a game of Carcassonne. I'll show you how to do that. News is just news from Board Game Arena with all their recent releases and stuff. So you'll see that on your homepage anyway, as they do new things. Games. This is a list of games that are available to play on Board Game Arena. Some of them are premium games, which means that you need to be a premium member in order to start a game of it. Others you can start or join freely. Carcassonne is a premium game, which means that you need to be a premium member in order to start a table to play Carcassonne. But if you're not a premium member, it doesn't matter too much. You can still join a game that somebody else has started. So you don't need to be premium. You don't need to pay to play. Community is not a page that I visit very often, but I suppose it might be useful. If you're new to BGA and you've got somebody's name, you can type it in here, and you will find their profile. So watch out for that guy. He's a bit of a moron. But there's also groups over here. I learned this the hard way. If you type Carcassonne and then just press enter, it will take you to Carcassonne Players, which I think is a group which everybody is in if you've played Carcassonne, possibly. So there are more than 750,000 players there. But if you just type in Carcassonne and don't press enter, you can, well, I assume you can scroll down, maybe you have to arrow down through the various different groups that Carcassonne fans have created. There is a Carcassonne Central group, which I can't actually see there, so maybe I'll carry on typing and see. Yeah, okay, so there's Carcassonne Central. We have our group here. This is a list of groups that I'm already a member of. So if you want to see that group, then there you go. There's our Carcassonne Central group, full of lots of interesting things, no doubt, and other members. I'm not sure whether we're going to continue using this group actually, because I think it was infiltrated with random BGA players who aren't actually in Carcassonne Central. But anyway, I'm sure you'll be directed to the correct group. And then we have over here forums, which I don't think I've ever used. Not nearly as good as Carcassonne Central, so generally just avoid those. Unless you have anything that you particularly want to engage about. And then this icon, I'm never quite sure what this icon actually is. I've heard somebody believe that it is supposed to be like a table with 4 people sitting around it, which is good enough. Yep, I can believe that. So we'll go with that. And it's disappeared because it's shy. It's come back. Yes. I've got 3 games on the go at the moment. All of them are with my friend Revelations, who is Halfling on the forums. For some reason, we have 2 games of Bandido on the go and 1 of Next Station London, and you can just dip into those just by clicking on them. So that is the start of my game of Next Station London, which is largely irrelevant, but it's a great game. I recommend it. And then over here you can see these are my friends who are online at the moment, and it shows what they are doing. Apparently none of them are doing anything, so that's interesting. And then you can, if you click on this is my avatar. If you click on that and then go to view my profile, then you've got your profile here, and you're able to see that the same for everybody. So if I pick a random person from my friends, someone you know, he is actually Vladimir Kovalev, who was the Carcassonne World Champion in 2016, for anybody who wanted to know. And you can go through all of these. Those are the groups that he's in, the friends he has, games he's played. So if you want to see games that somebody's played, then you can just click on that. And then these are games he's played. And you can also go down to games history, which shows a slightly more detailed view of games played, but also you can see games between someone you know or whoever you pick. So here's a history of games that we've played, and you can see that he's won most of them, which is unsurprising considering he's a world champion and I'm me. But other than that, I'll stick to my own profile, which is here. So you have a little bit of an introduction about yourself. You can set up your date of birth, where you're from, etc., etc. Set up a shameless plug for the book that you've written, and then you've got reputation. BGA is keen on people not quitting games and insulting people, which happens in the chat sometimes, unfortunately. So I have what happened here. Okay, so I went over time as well. You have a time limit for games depending on whether they're real time or turn-based. I suppose they're all turn-based, but turn-based generally means that you have like 3 or 4 days to play a game, whereas real time means you have sort of 2 to 3 minutes thinking time between turns. And yeah, there was some games there which I went over time in, so I've got some penalties for it. But they're not heavy penalties. You don't, it just affects your reputation slightly, but then after a certain number of days, then they're largely forgotten about. Recent activity. So this is stuff which I have done, things I've signed up for, friends I've made recently. A little bit going on in there, not very much. This is kind of the most interesting page of your profile, where it shows your stats for games that you've played. So I have played 2,079 games of Carcassonne here. I've won just over 1,400 of them, which gives me 72% wins. And my ELO rating is 514. ELO ratings tend to fluctuate, that you can win and lose ELO, and it can fluctuate quite a lot even in a single day. You might lose 50 or gain 50 points or so. I think I've probably had days where I've lost even more than that if I'm on a bit of a downward trajectory. But that's ELO, and then you've got it for all your different games as well. So I'm very proud to see that in Draftosaurus, after just 82 games, my ELO rating puts me in 25th. I'm not quite sure how it's worked out that I've won 104% of games played. I'm not entirely convinced by that, but you will see weirdness like that from time to time with this. And then there's my games played. So mostly Bandido recently, a little bit of Next Station London, again with Rich. And then friends, I've got 112 friends, and they're a bit like Facebook friends in the same way as they're the kind of friends who you mostly very rarely speak to, but you build up your friends list, and then in the same way you build up a list of groups, which actually is exactly the same as what we already saw on community. It's just a different view of it, and a worse view of it, because at least here you can see the groups that you're part of with an icon. So that's a quick overview of everything that is available to you. I hope that's helpful. I talked about playing games. So when you go to play now, I'm a premium member, which means that even for premium games, I can create tables. You might find that you're not able to, as I mentioned earlier, for certain premium games if you're not a premium member, but it's not a big deal. You've got a few options along the top here. Firstly, you will need to find any games that you want to play. So going to games is going to be your first stop there, and then you can just search for games. I'm going to type Catan just because it was there in the search bar. So I'll click Catan. Here is Catan's page, and I can learn it, or I can play it, or I can add it to my favourites. So I'm actually going to do that now, even though I almost never play it. Add to a list. I don't know what that means. Manage. Okay, I'm lost already. I might have clicked on the wrong bit. I think I clicked on the plus rather than the add to favorites. So if I go to games now, then sorry, not games, to play now, then we'll see Catan in my list of games. There it is. I haven't got an ELO rating because I've never played it, and now I'm going to take it off there, so it's no longer favorite. Sorry, Catan, it just wasn't working out for us. It's not you, it's me. But my games that I do have here are all favorited, and I think it will probably bring up games here that you've played as well, not necessarily just favorites. Oh, but they would be down here. Oh, look, you could, rather than going all the way to games, you could just type it in here. So what's another game? I'm typing in Wingspan just because it's below. I can type Wingspan and search for that, and it's brought it up there, and I can find that and bring it in. But anyway, that's how you would find games. When you've found them and they are available to you, you have several different ways of playing. There's a simple game, an arena game, and a tournaments game. So simple games is generally how you would how would I describe the difference? So I suppose a simple game is, as it says, it's just a simple game. It's not necessarily competitive. It's just if you fancy a game of whatever, then you leave it on simple games, and then you click the game that you want to play and you go away and play it. But there is also on BGA this thing called arena mode. Most games have an arena associated with them. Apparently Bandido doesn't, because it's a cooperative. It's not going to be a particularly exciting arena to see two players cooperating with each other. But yes, arena mode ranks it slightly differently. You still have your ELO. Your ELO score is still adjusted depending on your wins and losses, but you also have this sort of set of levels that you go through. You have bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, and then elite. Most games have all of those levels. Carcassonne actually doesn't have the diamond level, but as you can see, Yahtzee does, and I am at diamond 4 at the moment. So once I get through diamond, assuming I ever get through diamond, I'm not that great at Yahtzee. I might go into platinum and then elite, and you just sort of work your way up through the different skill levels. And that is the main difference with arena and simple games. Arena will always try to match you against somebody who has a similar sort of level as yourself, much as it will do if you go for a simple game and just get it to randomly pick. So I'm not going to do arena. I am going to show you a simple game. I don't know if I'm actually going to go to the trouble of playing a simple game of Carcassonne, but I'll go through the options at least. You have real-time and turn-based, which I discussed earlier. If it's turn-based, then typically it's going to last, you're going to have 3 or 4 days per player, so it might end up lasting a week or more, and you would just sort of visit BGA maybe 2 or 3 times a day to see if your opponent's taken their turn. If they have, then you respond with your turn. If it's real time, then it's very much about just sitting there and playing the game from start to finish. And then finally you have the sort of way that it determines your opposition. So you can set to play against friends. If I set that to friends, then it's brought up a list of some of my friends who are online at the moment, or I can type somebody's name in there and it will find them, and I can say, right, add Tom, Dekar, and then I would choose a game below. So perhaps I would change it to turn-based rather than expecting him to appear on BGA Now and play me. But I could invite him to a turn-based game of anything that we particularly wanted to play there, and we would then continue playing that game. So that's Friends. If you have it on automatic, then it will just randomly choose somebody for you. I say randomly, you do have some control over who you would like to play in terms of their level, etc. And how many, with a game like Carcassonne, how many players you would like to be at the table. And there's a number of other settings which are available to you. They are available to you as the player who is creating the table, i.e. you're setting up the table. I suppose the real world analogy might be it's your game, you brought it to the table, and you're opening invitations to other people to come and sit at your table with you and play the game with you. You're the person who decides how many people and any other rules governing how that game's going to be played. If you're not premium, then you can still play, but you're basically looking out for other people who've set their tables out and who you want to go and play with. So that's a reasonable analogy of what the difference is. But automatic, as I say, will just pick somebody almost at random or somebody who's looking for people. Manual, you have a bit more choice over who you allow to come and sit at your table. And then, yes, of course, the thing that's going to be most relevant is tournaments. So when you sign up, depending on where we are with the Carcassonne Central tournament, it might be set up. Hopefully it will be. You can come in here and you will be able to. It's been a while since I was on tournaments. It's changed it a little bit. But yeah, you should be able to type the name in here, or you will probably be invited to it. Yes, I think that's how it's going to be done. So you'll probably be invited to it, in which case you will see something like here. I went here briefly earlier on. This is like sort of notifications, and you'll get a notification if you're invited to a tournament. You can also have random messages with people, which is there, as well as your games in progress. But yes, you could find any Carcassonne tournament just by typing. Actually, I probably wouldn't type Carcassonne into there because it's going to be looking for Carcassonne tournaments anyway. I can specify that here. A specific game. Start by typing the game name, Carcassonne. Right, now I'm looking at all Carcassonne tournaments, and the majority of these, as you can see, are going to be turn-based. There is a real-time one there, a preparation test. Right, okay, so that's the one that Eduardo's set up. I should. Oh, I'm already participating in that. Okay, that's fine. Is it starting in 15? No, okay. Right, sorry, I was getting a bit confused. I thought that meant that it was starting in 15 minutes. It's not starting in 15 minutes. This is the date at the top. So it's starting on Sunday at 8 o'clock, I think. So that's all good. But anyway, here's all the other Carcassonne tournaments, mostly turn-based. You can enter any of them freely, regardless of whether you're premium or not. And you have a number of other things here which help you to filter what kind of things you're looking for. So if you were only looking for real-time Carcassonne tournaments, then here we go. Here's a list of them. There's only one other. It starts on the 8th of August, and it only has 10 other people in it. So if I wanted to join that, I could click there. I could have a look at it. These are the other people who are in there, and it looks like it might be an invitation only? I don't know. It says I can register, so I think a bunch of people have been invited, but they haven't responded yet. Here's the people who are playing, ordered by their ELO. So James81 is currently the top seed with 608. I guess I would be 4th seed if I was to join, and all I would have to do would be to click that button there, register for this tournament, and that would take me in. And I think that is pretty much everything. Everything that's going to be of use. I mean, it's been a kind of quick rush through everything that's available to you. I would recommend, once you've signed up at BGA, spend the time yourself having a bit of a look around and familiarize yourself with it. It is it can be a bit difficult to navigate at first, or it certainly was when I first joined up. But hopefully this has sort of helped a little bit to demystify some of that. And if it would be useful, I'm happy to do another video at some point where perhaps we'll go through a typical game of Carcassonne, just so you are familiar with that, and know what to expect from the tournament games. But anyway, I shall sign off now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as I'm probably going to have to drop this onto YouTube, I would feel bad if I didn't at least say, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Don't just press them, do smash them, please.